All right, so I'm going to break down the strategy that I'm using every single day, day trading futures. I'll show you what I look at when I open my computer, what's important to me, what's not important to me, how I take entries, where I take exits, all of those things. I'm not going to dive too deep into all the indicators and what you're looking at on my NinjaTrader screen. I made a completely separate video on all of the indicators and everything like that. If you want to check that out, I will pin that down in the comments down below. You could check that video out either before or after this, whatever you think is best. Okay, so the first things first, I have two charts here. One is a 30-minute candle chart, and the other one here is a Renko chart. Like I said, I talked about all that in the other video if you want to know what they are. I am mostly using the 30-minute range for my first look at what's going on in the day, if there's a trend, or what my first primary levels are going to be. And then I move over here to the Renko with my standard deviations from VWAP for more entries and exits in confluence with the 30-minute time frame. I do not trade in the overnight session. I do not think you should be trading futures that are based around things that are not open. You know what I mean? Like, so I trade the Dow here and the ES. If those stocks aren't open and trading during the day, then I'm not going to trade over the night. But I do want some range to happen. So the first thing you might see, and I'm going to look at, is the ATR that I explained. For me to be green lighted to trade whenever that happens, I like to be around 50%, at least 50% of that range. Today was a little bit below that to start the day. So those are just things that are going to come with reps. You're going to kind of get an idea of when 46% is okay and when even sometimes 55% isn't okay. But that's kind of the first thing I'm looking. I'm waking up in the morning and I'm seeing, okay, what is the range? And that range is told to me on the 30-minute chart here. So the range for the day today was 392. So not a huge range. And that's how I'm measuring what the volatility in the market really is. As a mean reversion trader, that's essentially what I am. I'm kind of just getting an idea of what the range was. There are three lines here that are really important to me when I start the day as far as what my initial ranges are going to be. We have this red dotted line up here. That is yesterday's high, the range high. Down here is yesterday's range low. So those are two levels that I'm going to be looking to short at or long at, as well as yesterday's volume point of control. That's kind of where I'm looking as a reversal point. So more maybe a target or something to reverse in that area there. So those are the three things that I'm looking at right away. The next line that's very important to me is this 233 trend line. I'm going to be looking for longs or shorts in confluence with over here, the lanes that I have and the VWAP bands that I have over here. And then I have a session volume profile, which has a developing volume point of control. As we know, that's going to move throughout the day. And I'm going to be using that mostly for exits, not really so much for entries right now. So the markets right now, they are closed. But if I was opening my computer right now, I'm literally starting the day by placing a sell order here, placing a buy order here, probably another buy order here at the trend line. And that's going to be where I'm going to start. And then I'm going to wait for the first couple minutes of the day, the cash session to open, see if we have any volatility and see what we want. So now we can move over here. I waited today. We can go back. This is a tick-based chart. So here's 9:30 in the morning. So the market opened and we did not have a ton of range to open the day. So I'm sitting on my hands for a little bit just to see if there's a little bit of pop. We know in the news right now, there's been a lot of pop. I know a lot of people in the trade room, they took shorts at these lines. The long and short of it is I am going to be placing buy orders down here at the -2s, buy order down here at the -1s, targeting either VWAP or the line above it. And I'm going to be going short in between the +1 standard deviation and the +2 standard deviations, targeting VWAP as well. I'm going to show you my entries and exits today to show you that in a little bit of practice. Now today actually was a masterclass on this. You can see 110 across 21 accounts is a pretty good day. Did not take that, like I said, not really at 50% range. I personally wasn't and don't have the skill, as well as how far away that high of day was. I need to be prepared for what my second entry is and what my third entry is. I am trading minis, micros, not minis, so that I have a little bit of room, because I know that I'm not that good and I need room in case my first entry was a little bit early. Like Warren Buffett says, I want my first entry to be my worst entry. So thinking about taking these plus twos here and knowing that I probably would want to maybe enter again of yesterday's value area, but then definitely enter again way up here, I was willing to let this thing run. I was also watching the crude chart, and as crude was pulling back a little bit, it ended up not, but they seem to be trading inversely right now. But we came down. Now I'm starting to look, now that I've seen that we have these swing highs that you don't see on a candle chart right here, once I start to see these, I kind of get an idea, okay, now plus twos might be a spot where I'm willing to enter. If you do not have NinjaTrader, this same thing with standard VWAP bands of 1 deviation and 2 deviation on a 5-minute time frame will give you pretty much the same exact levels. They will be off by a point or two, but pretty much the same exact levels that we're going to see. Once we went down to VWAP, now I definitely knew that this was an opportunity where if it came back up to the plus ones or back up to the plus twos, I was going to be taking shorts. And if it continued to flush all the way down to the minus ones, I was going to be taking longs. It came back up and I was making sure that we weren't just getting a rip. Like I said, a little early in the day, this definitely on most days, if we were at 50% of range, this would have been an automatic entry for me. No questions asked, with a second add up here at the plus two. But like I said, this is kind of where screen time is. We weren't at 50% of this ATR, which at the day was 740. You could see we only got to 392, so we didn't really get there till late in the day. So I was being a little bit cautious. Like I said, everything is risk management for me. Everything is managing risks. But now I'm in. Went against me. I'm taking some drawdown. Now everyone's asking, like, where is my stop? I currently do not have a stop loss in play. I'm trading my P&L, and we could talk about how much drawdown I actually took here in this trade. But I'm definitely not stopping out anywhere below the plus twos because that's another entry point. That is not adding to a loser. That is just my first entry being a little bit early and me having certain levels. If you have predefined levels where you want to take trades, that is not adding to a loser. That's kind of campaigning or finding your way around and finding the right price, frankly. So once we came up, boom, here I am again. So I entered here, and this is why I like trading micros. Call it 700 up to 771. Take that. So right now I'm down $35. Very, very manageable for me. It looks like I'm getting crushed, but I'm down to $35. Each point for me right now is 50 cents. So as I said, going from 700 up to 71, take 71, cut it in half, roughly $35, $36 I'm down. But now I'm in for two. I'm going to be looking probably to take one off back down here at the plus ones. And I'm definitely going to be looking for a full take down here at VWAP. Took a little bit of heat. Took a little bit more. I was probably down $40 at this point. $40 it got there. And we could see I took it off. I ended up taking it off right here in case this was going to act now. What was resistance. If this was going to act as support, I was willing to lock in. Now this is a loss, right? First in, first out. That is a loss. But the reason I'm willing to take that loss is because now I'm expecting it to go back up to the plus twos and I want to be able to enter again. I don't want to hold through that, right? And maybe have a third contract on 3 micros for me. That's just a little bit much. So by peeling this off for a little bit of a loss, 700 up to 733, by taking that $15 loss, I now give myself the opportunity to enter back up here at 791, or it continues to go, and I'm going to take the rest of my profit down here close to VWAP. What did it do? Came back up. Boom. I'm back in. So that, like I said, that would have had to be a third ad for me. I would not feel comfortable, especially with a low range. So I took that $15 loss. Now I can add back in. Once again, not adding to a loser. But that took my break even from here, essentially up now to here. So now I'm in a much better position to start putting some profits into my pocket. I took one off there. And then I took the second one at VWAP, like I said, to get out of the trade. Should I have been holding all the way down to VWAP? Yes, and not taking both of them at the plus ones. But I had a red day yesterday, like the psychology. There's so much nuance. Nothing is an always. Nothing is you have to do this. But that was kind of the mindset that I was thinking about. And if we see, I probably got the touch because that's always happens when you exit early. Boom. That would have been a full touch for me. That would have been, I would love to be on here right now. But like I said, I'm still figuring this out. But that's exactly where I want to be. But now we had something that, like, I think I said in the Discord, like dreams are made of. I'm back into the plus ones. And boom, I'm out. So, right? So am I going all the way to VWAP? No, there's many things I'm looking at, as well as on the range trader, things that might have been happening. I think at the time that was developing VPOC. So I took it off as a target at VPOC. Like I said, I'm using the 30-minute first and foremost, and then entries and exits here. So right here, if VPOC ended up having to be right before VWAP, then yes, I'm going to take that target. But now I'm looking to get right back in if I can. Boom, I'm back in again. And boom, back in VPOC. Same exact trade. Boom. And these were how far apart? 9:39 down to 9:44, so about 5 minutes there. And then this was 10:48. This one happened 10:56, so about 8 minutes there. So in about 20 minutes, I'm up pretty nice. And then this is, like I said, what dreams were made of today. Probably good taking that one. If you were a little early, that would have been another one. Came down, chopped again. There's another one. Came back up. I said, all right, if it's going to do it again, I got to get back in again. Came back down. Took it off. Came back up again. There would have been another one. This time it flushed all the way down. Now I'm going short here, okay? Now this isn't really full part of the strategy because it's a little bit diddling in the middle, but I was watching crude, okay? And crude was starting to pump. And like I said, they've been acting inversely, so this is just a little bit more. I had my crude chart open here. I do have crude open, and then I have the S&P 500 as well as this. So I'm watching crude. I'm like, I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to go lower. But with this short, essentially, I'm thinking once again about my ads. If it continues to go against me, I'm going to add like I would have up here at the plus ones, and then my third would be at the twos. Came back down there. That would have probably been an ad at this point in the day. I'm up on the day. I was probably just done for the day. 12:33, yes. I was probably just done for the day. Had a good morning session. But would that trade have worked out? Yep, it would have worked out right there. So if you would have entered here at 12:30, you would have been out at 1:10. So about 40 minutes there would have got you that trade. There would have been another entry. Or you could have entered there. You would have took some heat. Took even more heat. Now here would have been another ad. Took some heat. But you would have got out at least one of them there. And then you would have got your full target there. So that heat right here, if you would have had to take that heat, even with two contracts, you know, you're talking right here, we were at 600, and you would have had to come all the way down to 512, so you'd have been down about $80, but you would have got the full fill back up to here. Wish I would have got that. That would have been nice. There would have been another spot you could have entered. There would have been some more heat, but there would be my second entry. Woo, really went. I'm looking at this for the first time. Honestly, I didn't check the rest of the day. Up, a little bit of heat, a little bit of heat. Okay, so that would have been the end of the day. So most likely, maybe you wouldn't have taken this trade because it would have been really, really close to the end of the day. And that's where we ended up. That's the trade. That's the whole day. And then tomorrow, we'll rinse and repeat. If you have any questions about the strategy, like I said, get down in the comments down below. I do take my, I guess as far as my stop loss, I will say, I have a very, very strict, if you go inside of your brokerage, I have everything liquidate me at $249. That's the most I will lose in a day. Generally in one trade, I won't let it go against me more than about half of that, $150, $160. If I'm there and things don't look good, I'll cut the trade at $150, look to re-enter. But max loss, like I said, liquidated at $249 for the day. With a high win rate, that's successful for me. You've seen the video. I've been passing some of the evals, a couple more. About to get my first payout here on Lucid as well. I said if you have any comments, not about the indicators and things like that, I will leave that video in the comments somewhere down below. And yeah, thanks so much for the support, guys. New small channel. Thank you. A lot of new subscribers. I do appreciate you being here. And I also love the feedback. So please let me know if you have any feedback about the strategy for me, if you think I'm going to be a donkey and this isn't going to last. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.